Hello dear crypto friends, and welcome to today's video in which we are going to observe the bounce. How is the bounce progressing? Will this turn into a nice uptrend, into a nice bull market, or will this drop lower? Will this be a dead cat bounce, which we all wouldn't like, and then it goes to low prices? So let's try to find out. And for that purpose, I'm here in the daily chart. If we zoom out, here's the long-term logarithmic trend channel of Bitcoin, and now I zoom in. I have already prepared the comparison with the March 2020 low. So here in blue you basically see this here, the March 2020 low, right? And I have overlaid it so that we can see the timings. Where are we now if we compare this to the whole structure? I have overlaid it here, right? It fits quite nicely. This whole downtrend fits quite nicely. And of course, the March 2020 low was quite a lot more exaggerated in its brutality, and thus the recovery was also stronger. But we can see that now we are timing wise where we were here, around here, right? So if this continues, then we will wobble around a bit, and then only as late as late June will we get a stronger pump, and then we have to reevaluate and see what is going to happen. So the comparison with the March 2020 low looks kind of good. I'm not expecting like insane pumps right now and that we go directly much higher. That would be quite surprising, even more so because here actually I have loaded the stochastic RSI, the daily stochastic RSI. And what can we see the last times when we had such a double peak structure, right? First small peak in the stochastic RSI, and then a second one, small peak, and then a second one, small peak, and then a second one, right? And the second time, that meant that we were seeing a few more daily green candles, and here also probably a few more daily green candles until we go to this resistance line here at around 34,000. And then I think the stochastic RSI will have to come down again somewhat. We probably will correct and then go through this one here at some point, probably mid to late June, I suspect. So in this case, the stochastic RSI tells us what is going likely to happen. Of course, this is not a guarantee, but I still think that this resistance line here will prove a bit difficult to overcome. We probably will not just break through it like this. I would be surprised if we break through it like it's not even there. So I think we will go to this line here at 34,000, go down again, and then at some point later in this month break through. Now going to the dollar index in the 4-hour chart, we see that the dollar index has completed its first leg down. We might get a corrective structure now, a B leg, and then comes an even more brutal C leg, in my opinion, that will see the dollar index fall. And we can see that in the daily it's looking pretty good also. This is a classical bubble pop that the dollar has shown here in the last months, and we have reached a 20-year high in the dollar index. And we were saying, guys, it's looking good that the dollar index will fall. It was insanely overbought like crazy, and now I think we are going down in the dollar index, and we all know what that means for Bitcoin. That of course means that the likelihood for a rally is pretty high. And now we had the monthly candle close. Look at this insanely bearish looking monthly candle in the dollar index. It looks quite brutal, so I think we will get a nice downtrend in the dollar index. And of course, depending on how steep this will be, this will then influence the recovery in Bitcoin. The Nasdaq is looking pretty nice. It is recovering in a nice pace, not quite as fast and aggressive as here, but that is actually a good sign, because if we would get now too fast a pace in recovery, I think the likelihood would be higher that this is just a dead cat bounce. So I think this might actually be not as insanely fast, and then we might take a bit longer time until we reach new highs. Because I'm still very contrarian, and as everyone is bearish and thinks we are entering a new bear market, I basically think the exact opposite will happen and the Nasdaq will go to new highs. And of course, the speed with which this will happen will determine also the speed for Bitcoin, right? The Nasdaq still looking super bullish, still making hidden bullish divergences all over the place. So I think this will really turn into a longer lasting uptrend. and consequently in Bitcoin we will see the exact same thing happening. Bitcoin is lagging behind the Nasdaq, is lagging behind, right? If we compare it to the Nasdaq here, we can see how insanely correlated the Nasdaq is in orange with Bitcoin in candlestick. So we can see it's like basically almost one-to-one following it. And we see that Bitcoin took a bit longer. The Nasdaq was already rallying a few days before Bitcoin, and now Bitcoin is also catching up. And now I think the Nasdaq will continue, and probably Bitcoin will also continue to go up. But as I said, we should keep a strong eye out for this resistance line here, because there could be some quite brutal resistance. And Bitcoin will probably be repelled by this resistance line, dump a bit, and then go through it. So that is my current picture for Bitcoin. The bounce is looking good. I don't see any bearish signs yet. I think we will certainly go and revisit this resistance line here and eventually break through. And then we will have to be very vigilant and see if any bearish divergences will come up, because bearish divergences are always a very good indicator. We will of course also look at the volume, the MACD and other indicators in order to determine how good this bounce actually looks. Will it go lower? Will it continue going higher? It's too early to tell definitively, but if we get through this resistance line here, then it will be already a very good sign. So that's my current picture for now. I will keep you updated. I will make daily updates on Bitcoin and the crypto market. So please like this video and subscribe to this channel, because then we can think about what Bitcoin will be doing in the next weeks and months, and we compare it to the stock market, to the dollar index and to macroeconomic developments, and then hopefully see if this will turn into a nice rally, which we all would like very much, right? So thanks for watching, friends, and see you in the next update video tomorrow. Bye!